Assalamualaikum. My name is Mansoor and I am the first year student of Osh International Medical University. Today I am going to explain sympathetic, parasympathetic and enteric nervous system in autonomic nervous system. First of all, sympathetic nervous system. First of all we talk about the plexus, as mesenteric and dorsus plexus are controlled by the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, whereas Meissner's and some costal plexus are controlled by the peripheral nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system starts from T1 and ends at L2 from the lateral part of spinal cord. In sympathetic nervous system we will only talk about fear. Parasympathetic nervous system ends at the level of S4, and in parasympathetic nervous system we will only talk about love. Sympathetic ganglions are prevertebral, paravertebral and terminal ganglion. Paravertebral ganglion are located on each side of each vertebra to form the sympathetic chain. In perivertebral ganglion are celiac ganglion, superior mesenteric and inferior mesenteric. In parasympathetic ganglion there are submandibular, submaxillary, sublingual, spinopalatine, lacrimal and ciliary ganglions. Mostly the parasympathetic ganglions are present near the effector organs, in which the motility increases, secretions increases and the sphincters relax.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Saud Amir. I am first year medical student of Osh International Medical University. Today my topic is ciliary ganglion, sphenopalatine ganglion, submaxillary ganglion and otic ganglion. So first of all I want to tell you about ciliary ganglion. Ciliary ganglion is a bundle of nerve parasympathetic ganglions located just behind the eye in posterior orbit. It is 1 or 2 millimeter in diameter, and in human it is approximately 2500. Second is sphenopalatine ganglion. Sphenopalatine ganglion is a collection of nerve, sympathetic, parasympathetic and some sensory. It lies in bony cavity called pterygopalatine fossa, which is deep in midface. The third one is submaxillary ganglion. It is a part of autonomic nervous system. It is 4 parasympathetic ganglion which are present in head and neck. The fourth one is otic ganglion. Otic ganglion is a small parasympathetic ganglion located immediate below the foramen ovale in the infratemporal fossa and on the medial surface of mandibular nerve. It is functionally associated with glossopharyngeal nerve and innervates parotid gland.
My name is Abdurrahman and I am a first year medical student in OSH. Today I talk about the ganglions of the sympathetic nervous system. Basically the 3 ganglions which give the innervation to the whole GIT, sympathetic innervation to the whole GIT. Celiac ganglions, superior mesenteric and inferior mesenteric ganglions. And the celiac ganglion provides the innervation to the stomach, small pancreas, liver, gallbladder, and inferior mesenteric ganglion provide the innervation to the small intestine and some part of ascending and transverse colon, which are part of large intestine. And the inferior mesenteric ganglion provide the innervation to the descending colon and sigmoidal colon, rectum and anal canal. And there is an important plexus called the hypogastric plexus, which is the plexus which formed from the sacral outflow and provide the innervation to the sympathetic innervation to the urinary bladder and the male and female sexual organs, male penis and the in female uterus. These structures get innervation, sympathetic innervation from the hypogastric plexus. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hassan Ali. I am student of Osh International Medical University. Today I am going to represent my topic about the influence of SNS and PNS on the different parts of body. सबसे पहले हम बात करेंगे ऑल लैंड्स ऑफ द बॉडी. ऑल लैंड्स ऑफ द बॉडी सबसे पहले हमारा हिप्पोकैम्पस एक अलर्ट मैसेज भेजेगा टू द एसएनएस. एसएनएस फिर उसके आगे क्या नाम लेते हैं, एड्रेनलिन को कंटिन्यू करेगा. एड्रेनलिन एक हार्मोन रिलीज़ करेगी एपिनेफ्रिन, जिसे हम आमतौर पे एड्रेनलिन कहते हैं. वो एड्रेनलिन रिलीज़ होगा, उससे हमारे ना क्या नाम लेते हैं डिफरेंट स्ट्रेस जो कंडीशन में हमारी जो एक्टिविटी होती है, मतलब कि हमारी हार्ट रेट इंक्रीज़ कर जाता है, स्वेट रिलीज़ होता है, उसके अलावा हमारी डिफरेंट एक्टिविटीज़ होती हैं, मतलब कि वो अलामत होती हैं स्ट्रेस में, वो हो जाएगा। तो नेक्स्ट फिर हम आगे बात करेंगे आई पे एसएनएस और पीएनएस का इन्फ्लुएंस ये होगा कि ना स्ट्रेस में वो क्या नाम लेते हैं आई पीपल डायलेट कर जाएगा फाइट और फ्लाइट में। फिर उसके बाद क्या नाम लेते हैं फाइट एंड फ्लाइट में, उसके बाद पीएनएस उसमें क्या होगा, उसमें ये होगा कि क्या नाम लेते हैं वो होगा आई पीपल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर जाएगा रेस्ट एंड डाइजेशन में। फिर उसके बाद हम बात करेंगे गैस्ट्रो इंटेस्टाइनल ट्रैक्ट की। गैस्ट्रो इंटेस्टाइनल ट्रैक्ट समटाइम इट इज़ कॉल्ड रेस्ट एंड डाइजेस्ट। इसमें क्या होता है कि एनर्जी कंजर्व होती है, क्या नाम लेते हैं, उसके बाद हार्ट रेट स्लो होता है, गैस्ट्रो इंटेस्टाइनल ग्लैंड एक्टिविटी इंक्रीज़ करती है और जो मसल्स स्फिंक्टर सेमी रिलैक्स कर जाते हैं। उसके बाद हार्ट बीट की बात करें तो हार्ट बीट रेस्ट एंड डाइजेस्ट में हार्ट बीट इसकी 60 से 75 BPM होती है, वो कि बहुत नॉर्मल कह लें। फाइट और फ्लाइट में इसकी 120 BPM से भी इंक्रीज़ कर जाती है।
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Enteric and I am first year MBBS student in OSH. Today I am going to explain the parasympathetic innervation of whole body. Let's start with cranial nerve third, which is oculomotor nerve, and the origin of the oculomotor nerve is midbrain at the level of superior corniculus. It has a ciliary ganglion which innervate the ciliary muscle of eye. The next is cranial nerve 7, which is facial nerve. The origin of the facial nerve is pons, and it has pterygopalatine ganglion and submandibular ganglion. The pterygopalatine ganglion innervates the lacrimal gland, and the submandibular ganglion innervates the salivary glands. The next is ninth cranial nerve, which is glossopharyngeal nerve. The origin of the glossopharyngeal nerve is medulla oblongata. It has a otic ganglion which also supply the salivary gland. The next is 10th cranial nerve, which is vagus nerve. The origin of the vagus nerve is medulla of the brainstem. It's innervate the heart, lung, liver, gallbladder, stomach, spleen, pancreas, large intestine, small intestine.
My name is Mohammad Usman Ali. I am the first year MBBS student of OSH International Medical University. Today I am going to explain a little bit about rate and force of heart. Which is topic of autonomic nervous system. Paravertebral ganglion is a type of sympathetic ganglion in which cervical ganglions are 8. Thoracic ganglions are 12, lumbar ganglions are 5, and sacral ganglions are also 5. First 8 cervical ganglion preganglionic fibers are exerted out from T1 and from lateral gray horn of spinal segment. In 8 cervical ganglions, first 4 are superior cervical ganglion, 5th and 6th are middle cervical ganglion, and 7th and 8th are inferior cervical ganglions. 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 are move towards heart. They increases the heart rate due to sympathetic outflow. We know heart rate beat 60 to 100. If heart rate decreases from 60, then there will be bradycardia, and if heart rate increases from 100, then there will be tachycardia. Exception case is also here. In exception case, Sympathetic nervous system contributes all the blood vessels except skeletal muscles and heart because they are vasodilation.
Bismillah Rahman Rahim. My name is Fahad Ahmed. Today's my topic is autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system is that type of nervous system which regulates our visceral and vegetative functions of our body. It's also called as involuntary nervous system. First of all, we have to study about the enteric nervous system. In enteric nervous system, we have to remember two main points. Number first, we have to remember about discuss about the submucosal plexus, and another is muscular plexus. Submucosal plexus is also called as Meissner's plexus and is controlled by the parasympathetic nervous system. Muscular plexus is also called as Enteric nervous system and is controlled by both the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. And then after that we have to start from the sympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system is that type of nervous system which is working during flight, fight or stressful conditions. Sympathetic nervous system, sympathetic divisions is otherwise called as thoracolumbar outflow because its preganglionic fibers arise from the thoracic and the lumbar segments from T1 to L2 arise from the lateral gray horn of spinal cord. Sympathetic ganglion is classified into three main groups. That is, number first is paravertebral or sympathetic chain ganglion, number second is prevertebral or collateral ganglion, number third is terminal ganglion or peripheral ganglion. The paravertebral ganglion is then divided into four subgroups. Number first is cervical ganglion, number second is thoracic, number third is lumbar, number fourth is sacral. So the thoracic, first of all, the cervical ganglion is 8 in number. Second is thoracic ganglion, which is 12 in number, and lumbar and sacral are 5 in number. Both are 5 in number. Then prevertebral or collateral ganglion, situated in the thoracic abdomen and the pelvis in relation to aorta. And its branches are celiac ganglion, inferior mesenteric ganglion, and superior mesenteric ganglion. Terminal ganglion or peripheral ganglion is situated within close to the structure that is inverted by them. Heart. These structures are heart, bronchi, pancreas, and gallbladder, urinary bladder. These are present near the effector organs. Some main points which we have to remember for the during studying the sympathetic nervous system. These are: in sympathetic nervous system, preganglionic fibers releases acetylcholine. In sympathetic nervous system, postganglionic nerve endings releases the epinephrine or norepinephrine. Internal sphincters contract in sympathetic nervous system, and detrosal muscles may contract in relaxes in the sympathetic nervous system. After that, we have to discuss about the parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system is also called as cranial sacral outflow because their divisions arises from the brain and the sacral segments of the spinal cord. Parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system is also called as cranial sacral outflow because the fibers arises from the brain and the sacral segments of the spinal cord. Okay. Parasympathetic or parasympathetic nervous system, the cranial part, there are some cranial nerves may arise. These cranial nerves are 3, third cranial nerve, 7 cranial nerve, 9, and cranial nerve number 10. And from the sacral part involves the third, S3, S2, S3, and S4. In parasympathetic nervous system, the nerve ending releases acetylcholine. The pre-nerve ending releases acetylcholine, as well as also the post ganglionic nerve fibers releases acetylcholine. So In sympathetic, only the preganglionic releases acetylcholine, while the postganglionic nerve ending releases the epinephrine or norepinephrine, while in parasympathetic both releases the acetylcholine. So it's my topic. And the gallbladder, urinary bladder. These are present near the effector organs. Some main points which we have to remember for the during studying the sympathetic nervous system. These are: in sympathetic nervous system, preganglionic fibers releases acetylcholine. In sympathetic nervous system, postganglionic nerve endings releases the epinephrine or norepinephrine. Internal sphincters contract in sympathetic nervous system, and detrosal muscles may contract in relaxes in the sympathetic nervous system. After that, we have to discuss about the parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system is also called as cranial sacral outflow, because their divisions arises from the brain and the sacral segments of the spinal cord. Parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system is also called as cranial sacral outflow, because the fibers arises from the brain and the sacral segments of the spinal cord. Okay. Parasympathetic or parasympathetic nervous system, the cranial part, there are some cranial nerves may arise. These cranial nerves are third cranial nerve, 7th cranial nerve, 9th, and cranial nerve number 10. And from the sacral part involves the third, S3, S2, S3, and S4. In parasympathetic nervous system, the nerve ending releases acetylcholine. The pre-nerve ending releases acetylcholine, as well as also the post-ganglionic nerve fibers releases acetylcholine. So, in sympathetic, only the preganglionic releases acetylcholine, while the postganglionic nerve ending releases the epinephrine or norepinephrine, while in parasympathetic both releases the acetylcholine. So, it's my topic.
My name is Mohammed Umarsid and I am student of OSH International Medical University. Today I am going to talk about sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system's effect on gastrointestinal tract and liver. Sympathetic nervous system exert inhibitory effect on gastrointestinal tract, provide tonic inhibitory influence on mucosal secretion and regulate blood flow. While parasympathetic nervous systems promote saliva secretion, promote peristalsis and release of bile to digest fats. On liver, sympathetic nervous systems involved in metabolism of ketones body, and while parasympathetic nervous system involved in metabolism of glucose.
Assalamu alaikum. Today I am talking about the autonomic nervous system. It regulates our visceral and vegetative function of the body. There are the three parts of the autonomic nervous system: enteric nervous system, sympathetic nervous system, and parasympathetic nervous system. So today we will discuss about the effect of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system in liver, lung, and kidney. So sympathetic nervous system, it is also called a thoracolumbar outflow, because of that its preganglionic fibers comes out from the thoracolumbar part of the spinal cord. Thoracolumbar part is from T1 to L2. So from T to T3 and T4, the preganglionic fibers comes out from the T2, T3, and T4, forms the ganglion, and after the ganglion it forms the postganglionic fibers, and the postganglionic fibers are innervated into the lungs. In lungs, we know that the sympathetic nervous system is just like the fight and fly, fight, fright, flight, and also it in stress condition in lungs, due to the sympathetic nervous system bronchioles are dilated. So after the T4, there is T5, T6, T7, T8, and T9, and also from T10 and T11 the preganglionic fibers comes out and forms the ganglion, and this ganglion is called celiac ganglion. And from the celiac ganglion, postganglionic fibers comes out and are innervated into the liver, into the kidney, in small intestine, in large intestine and also into the adrenal gland. So in kidney, due to the parasympathetic nervous system, the filtration rate becomes to decreases, reabsorption also decreases, renin output also decreases, outflow decreases, and only the secretion, renin secretion is increased. In simple word, we can say that due to the sympathetic nervous system in kidney, the urine output decreases and the renin secretion is increased. In liver, due to the sympathetic nervous system, the glucose rate, glucose is increased. Increased glucose is released to the from the liver and go to the blood. In blood also there is glucose is increased. So now we will discuss about the parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system, it is also called the cranial sacral outflow. Because of that, it is its preganglionic fibers are comes out from the cranium and sacral part of the spinal cord. So cranium part, as we know, we will discuss about we discussed about.
Okay, so today's topic is about the influences of parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic nervous system to the kidney. Kidney innervation consists of both afferent and efferent nerves, of which the efferent is strictly sympathetic. This nerve make up the renal plexus and receive input from the celiac and aortocoronal plexus, as well as the least sibilantius nerve. Activation of sympathetic nerve to the kidney increase tubular sodium reabsorption. Renin realizes and renal vesicular restances. About parasympathetic nervous system, there no any diagnosis about the influence of it on the kidney.